Hello and welcome, this is Philip. Today we're going to be putting my art skills to the test. In the previous video I talked about what makes a good Pokemon design and I reviewed a couple of them. For those who are interested in watching, I'm going to put that video up here somewhere. And so today I want to share my thought process of how I go about designing a Pokemon of my own. Now keep in mind that the way that I draw and I create my own art is very different than your traditional Pokemon style. It's going to be very much out of my comfort zone. But that's exactly why we're doing it, and I'm just gonna try my best to come as close as I can. And sometimes you're gonna have to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone, and those are the moments when you're gonna learn, and that's what we're gonna do today. So before I start drawing anything, I want to make sure I have a clear direction of what I'm going for, and so I wanted to make something that is more up to date and would fit inside the later games of Pokemon, preferably Pokemon Sword and Shield or earlier games. So I'm going to take a look at all these Pokemons that are inside these games and see if I can create something that would fit the same style and direction. Also, I have to define what kind of type of Pokemon that I'm designing. And so I really like reptiles and lizards and anything that looks like a dinosaur basically. So I figured I'm going to design a dragon type Pokemon. But how do you go about creating something that looks and feels completely original? Especially when there's like 800 and counting Pokemon. Now, I'm not going to be able to create something that you've never seen before in your entire life, but what I think is interesting, what Pokemon artists do for certain Pokemon designs is they incorporate a theme which I think can really help make a Pokemon look original. If we look at examples like Goodra, which is a dragon type Pokemon, but it has like a clear slime theme going on. If we look at examples like Hexorus, which is also a dragon type Pokemon, but has like an X weapon shape integrated into his design. The same principle I want to implement into my own design, and so I figured, what kind of dragon type Pokemon haven't I seen before? I felt like going for incorporating a moon theme into my dragon design. So we have something like a moon dragon. So now that we have a clear direction of what we're working on and what we're going for, now it's the time to start sketching. It's going to be very rough. In this stage, I'm really trying to figure out what our first Pokemon is going to look like. So let's see. So this is what we have so far. This is going to be the very first Pokemon before he starts to evolve into an actual dragon. So the very first Pokemon always look very cute, very minimalistic and simplified. And so I'm looking at like examples of geckos because those are very cute looking lizards. I'm very much focusing on the curvatures, making very bold shapes. Like if we look at his body shape, it's just basically this shape right here. Very big shapes, and so the way I'm incorporating like the crescent moon shape like this is for example on his face right here, on his eyebrows, on this lizard pattern, and basically you have like this head. This whole gesture is based off the curvature of a crescent moon. And I'm also, I'm really thinking about very expressive gestures. So I'm not really chicken scratching the lines. I'm very much focused on making very bold strokes to have that expressiveness that you see in the Pokemon art style. And so I also want to break down like these crescent moon shapes by adding some circle shapes, and like on his tail I'm adding like an element that makes it more interesting and that breaks the pattern, the repetitive pattern a little bit. Now I feel kind of good about his design, and so next step is to clean up the lines, so let's do it. Now that we have our clean lines and foundation for our first Pokemon. I'm going to start figuring out the design for our last evolution, and then I'm going to start figuring something out for the evolution in between. So let's see how we do this. Alright, so this is what we have so far. It's pretty much a stark contrast between the baby form and the adult version. This is a little bit how I see it. He has been evolved into an actual dragon right now. His whole demeanor has changed, he's more serious. So also here I'm figuring out how I'm going to implement the crescent moon shape to his design. I do that by different patterns, like adding onto his back and decreasing in size. I do that in very curved shape on his beak, on his head, like basically almost everywhere I try to do that. His tail had like first like a ball shape, and it finally evolved into more of a weapon that he can use in his form right now. And the most notable thing about him right now is that also his whole gesture. I try to keep his gesture like pretty similar. From the baby had like a crescent moon gesture like this, and now he also has a very pronounced crescent moon shape like this in his gesture. He feels more serious, more mature, but a lot of the elements are still there. And so we're going to refine the lines, and then we're going to design the middle one. So for this one, I'm trying to find a middle ground between the baby and the mature version. So he's evolved, he's older, he's not a baby anymore, but he still has that adolescent vibe. He still has something playful and joyful about him still, even though he's a little bit older. And I try to show that through his personality and a clear distinction that, like, for me, if geckos have very cute features, then like the obvious choice would be to make him more lizard-like. Lizards are, like, for me, the perfect middle ground between like an actual dragon and a baby like gecko kind of creature. And so I went for more of a lizard kind of feel for him, and still I'm still incorporating all the crescent moon shapes throughout his whole design. For the first one it's more simplified, for this one is a little bit more advanced before we get to the last evolution, which is the most advanced in his details, patterns. And now that we have the clean line art, we're going to add colors, the color themes. So my choice for the color theme is going to be a very obvious choice. When I think about the moon, I think about the dark blue for resembling the night sky. I'm thinking about a very bright light blue or almost white for the moon. And I've seen moons being visualized as almost yellow, yellow color. So I'd like to add that yellow color also to break the monotony of the dark and light color that is like the most prominent. And I just like to add an extra color just to break the monotony of it. And I think that can look very nice. In the end, I think this color theme is very fitting for the theme that I'm going for. And it visualizes the moon dragon kind of theme that I'm going for. So this is how I go about designing my own original Pokemon and trying to recreate it in the same style as much as I can. Looking back at it, I always feel like I could have done things differently, but let me know what you think of it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And I really hope you enjoyed this video. This is going to be it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!